My Little Pony Season 9, Episode 1 and 2, Beginning of the End. So, yes, the final season. An
Why
apropos
did it?
name.
Why didn't they bring back Storm King in this case? If he was able to bring Sombra back from exploding, why couldn't he bring back Storm King, who was just dismembered?
I guess
Just static. He was still
Maybe,
alive.
wait 1 second. Maybe he wasn't considered dead because he was turned into the statue, so his existence was still there, and then it was just broken apart. He wouldn't actually die until
he's
they
still alive. So
unstoned him, and when they unstoned him, then he would die, and that would be very messy.
Yeah, but he could just restore him, and restore the statue, and then bring him back to life.
Maybe he couldn't find the pieces. Maybe they have him too well. No, they got him out of, he got him out of Tartarus, so.
Exactly.
But
I mean, there's also the fact that he was played by a celebrity, a bigger named celebrity.
yeah.
True, but I mean, Sombra wasn't the original Sombra voice.
Well, Sombra didn't really have much of a voice to begin with. I mean, it was a cool voice, but he didn't really do. Yeah, there was that, but
Yeah.
that was about it.
Yeah.
Now they had to give Sombra a character and somewhat of a personality.
Yeah, the meme of crystals is all he can say. Yeah. I mean, could have gotten Maidrock. He's already been doing the voice for that.
Well, yeah, and I just
They used Jim Miller, who was already a voice and a producer in the series, so they figured we'll just have him do it.
I feel so sorry for you. Had how the whole redemption arc. I mean, I voiced all of it.
Yeah, and it's basically one of our biggest things. Most popular videos are the, especially towards the end of the Sombra blog. So, yeah, because some of those get up to like 2.6K.
I did make note that this is why you need coffee talk.
To rein in Sombra.
One of the things for sure, never ever look at a fool's tale as just a legend, because apparently they're all true.
True.
Yeah, fool's tales or old mare's tales. They're all true. They're all true to an extent.
We also need suspicious too.
Yeah, we need suspicious. But that taken out of context was disturbing. These are body parts.
Okay. I guess we can, now that we've kind of gotten our initial burst out, we can start going from the beginning. We get the urgent scroll to Canterlot. And apparently Pinky loves it when the walls get all blurry.
It's so much fun.
Well, of course it's Pinky that breaks the fourth wall and says that.
Yeah. Well, who else could?
The fifth wall, and the sixth wall, and the seventh wall.
Well, and the 12th wall. But not the 13th wall.
That's special. Only break those on Arbor Day.
No.
There are some walls even Pinky will break.
So yeah.
Deadpool night, though.
Well, I know.
Anyway.
Going downstairs.
So there's actually nothing wrong. In fact, the princesses praise Twilight and her friends for the peace and harmony they're enjoying, despite the rash of villains from 1,000 years ago showing up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe they couldn't. Here's part of it was like, okay, yeah, you had Cozy Glow, but like she dealt with her pretty. They dealt with her. Um, the students dealt with her, but anyway, um, She's starting to. Celestia has realized that Twilight is suddenly being saved by her own students. So it's like, okay, it's time for her transition.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so now she's become me in every other aspect. Here you go, you can raise the sun. I'm going on vacation.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
maybe they couldn't think of any more villains that Twilight hasn't put down already. It's like
Well,
they have a
luckily
checklist.
they
It's
have
like
that covered.
Discord reformed, Sombra destroyed, or at least at the point that they were dealing with. Tirek imprisoned. We're running
Crystal
out of
Summer
villains. It's like,
Yep.
Our old messes can she still clean up?
yeah,
Wow, there's not any of them.
yeah. And then when Twilight's villains come back in 1,000 years, she can get her student to deal with them.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Starlight's gonna have her fair share of villains anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they wish to retire as they are needed less and less. This is a weird. It feels a little weird to throw this in there, but I suppose it makes for gives Twilight an actual arc for this season for growth, besides dealing with the school. Like
Yep.
she already kind of reached her initial arc
Apex.
I'm dealing with arcs. You have her first arc was learning about friendship, and then season 3, she masters it for the most part, as shown by her becoming a princess. That's her into that arc, and then she's sort of been, they've sort of been idling with little things here and there, and then they had the box. Yeah, the problem with the elements. The problem with the elements, and then the box issue. But when that got resolved, she really didn't have much, and so they had to throw another thing. Okay, now we're dealing with the map. The map is gonna start giving our missions and start giving out what we need to do. That's gonna be our impetus for doing things. And so it's all outside stuff that's keeping her moving instead of her own growth. And so then last season we actually got some sort of a started arc with the school, but that's been resolved. They got the school going, everything's working, and they dealt with their villain, their token villain for the school, and everything seems to be running all right at the moment. Like, she's worked through everything, and now she's got that. And now, with that resolved, she didn't have anything to do. So now we've got this arc for the final season, double arc. We've got both Twilight building her confidence and becoming the ruler she needs to be by the end of the season, which I imagine that's going to be the finale.
And the Evil League of Evil.
And the Evil League of Evil. So those are the two plots.
You're finally learning to become friends.
What?
Oh.
Kyle, you got cut out.
Oh, sorry. I was saying villains are finally learning how to become friends.
Well, to be fair, Cozy Glow already knew, but she just misunderstood the concept, and which is why friendship, which is why it's like, oh, working together sounds a lot like friendship. I'm perfect at that. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's.
And then he just flicks her off of his shoulder.
Yeah,
is it me, or is Cozy Glow getting more annoying when she's a confirmed villain? Before
I think so, because she's still trying to sound cute.
Yeah, I mean, before you can understand the cutesiness because that was her cover story, but now it's just obnoxious.
I find it. I kind of find it funny, given that we know her internal personality, and we know she's this bucket of sunshine and rainbows in terms of her outward personality, in a room full of villains, just dastardly, we're gonna kill you sort of villains. And
Yeah.
then you have this just bucket
Literally
of sunshine and
away.
rainbows, and it's just, to me, I find it funny. It's like
It is funny, but just she is so grating and annoying. As a as a pony, as a creature, she's just really annoying. I appreciate the humor that she adds to the scheme, but she kind of reminds me of Rito from the original Power Rangers, Rita
Yeah.
Repulsa's little brother.
Oh yeah, that asshole.
Yeah.
That's what she reminds me of. You know, that stupid, obnoxious little pest.
Yeah, but she has
T-Rex is
more personality.
T-Rex
But-
is really old. No offense, you look great for your age. But if he knew of you when he was young, we have very different ideas of temporarily.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm correct, Rogar is an old villain, like from old My Little Pony.
Yeah, I think so. I have no idea who he is because I came into Ponies at Discord because of Discord, because of Delancey. So I have no idea about the classic series except that the very first episode ever had some villain trying to turn ponies into dragon slaves or something, because I watched the very first episode of My Little Pony from the 80s. But besides that, and Spike initially was evil. And they had humans in it, but that's all I know of classic ponies.
Yeah. Speaking of Discord, Discord
I
asks.
loved him in this one.
Well, yeah, I knew this was gonna be. This is him being very Q.
Yes. This entire episode reminded me of Encounter at Farpoint. This is just so Q from Encounter at Farpoint that you know, he's just nudging them along and just building their abilities to, you know, building them up so they can tackle what they need to deal with.
Like Fluttershy says, he does have strange ways of helping.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point of him.
It's very roundabout and chaotic, but it's also kind of perfect.
And it's what they need.
And it's kind of... Go ahead.
The biggest thing that I have to say about this whole thing is I am so proud of Discord.
I know. From the very first where he's like, he knew that she wasn't going to pick him. When it's like, the princesses are retired? Ooh, are you going to choose somebody tall, dark, and handsome, or the Lord of Chaos himself?
It's just kind of funny if you think about it, because who is tall, dark, and, depending on your sense of aesthetics, handsome?
Sombra.
There you go.
I don't know about the handsome part.
Yeah, again, that's why I said
depending
on your aesthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I can think of plenty of folks who think that he is a little studly.
Oh, but that voice, again, I don't hate it. I did not expect that voice.
right? I don't hate it. I think it's
The
perfect.
deep,
Especially
a little raspy.
especially after the Ask Sombra, your flaming interpretation of Sombra in that. I'm just like, that is exactly what I was expecting, honestly. I didn't know I was expecting until I heard it. I didn't know I was expecting it, but that's exactly what I was expecting. Kind of like Louis.
You get used to one thing, it just...
Kind of like Dewey in the Mark Beeks episode. This is everything I didn't know I always wanted.
Yeah.
Dash is
Although, wouldn't a princess retiring still be abdicating the throne since they don't actually have kings and queens? So wouldn't
uh,
she not be retiring? She would be abdicating.
yeah,
I
well,
think so.
yeah, technically,
And
but it's also you're dealing with a millennia reign, so they also probably wanted to keep the vocab to something the target audience would understand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, admittedly, it's not like they really do anything in the first place.
That
Except
I love that they mentioned that. I love
I
that.
know, it's like,
we almost never help.
Yeah, if you think about it, they basically never help. And
Yeah,
they list all of the villains and how the princesses didn't do shit the entire time.
I know. Except
It's
this
like,
and you just
episode,
get the Applejack, huh?
yeah,
except this
Yeah.
episode, they did become glorified weed whackers.
yep. It figures that Rainbow Dash would keep the axe.
Which it's interesting. I'll save that point till we get there. But
Yeah.
but she is Rainbow Dash is ready to step in and dreamwalk. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
it's like
That does bring up a question, though. If their special talents were raising the sun and the moon, hence why they have their tramp stamps for it, how would they be transferring that ability over when none of them have that ability to begin with?
well, they
Honestly,
did it when when she faced off with Tyrek. They loaded
Yes,
Twilight up with it.
the
but
package deal that with all of their magic, though, that wasn't, I'm going to give you the ability to do exactly
exactly,
this.
exactly. So they would be giving up all of their abilities, in
Well,
theory, including their immortality.
well, maybe not. Maybe
Also,
maybe Celeste and Luna are just retiring for the political thing, but they're still gonna race the sun and moon.
Yeah, I was always thinking that they would still have to raise the sun and moon because no one else can actually do it that easily.
They did say something about a power transfer ceremony. So if they, some perhaps they are actually just going to dump here, sun moving, night walking, all that stuff. You got that now, Twilight.
poor Twilight would have to be both princesses then.
Celestia did it for 1,000 years.
True.
Except the dream walking bit, she actually didn't do that.
Yeah, there is that.
Although, also, would the main six just constantly have the flowy hair, or at least would just Twilight have the flowy hair? Which I think would look really weird on her because of her hairstyle.
Well,
That fringe being all flowy would just look so weird.
they actually did show it at the
They
end.
did. They did.
During
they
the
did.
we're
No, that was just
taste the
that was-
rainbow sort of.
That no, that was not the end of that one. That wasn't flowy hair. That was just
No, in
the
this
wind
in these
energy.
episodes.
No, they didn't. That was just the wind blowing their manes.
No, Twilight had full on sparkly, ethereal hair. She had it. When they're doing the, we keep telling you villains,
It looks
this.
just like the energy was blowing their hair around, though. It didn't look like
No, everybody
flowy.
else's hair looked fine. Everybody else looked normal. Her hair was the only one that changed to a sparkly version of itself.
And even then, her bangs didn't really do anything aside from
Just
sparkle.
wave. Yeah,
Yeah,
her hair was more wavy.
yeah.
Than
That seems to be what
flowy.
her transformation is. That she has, it goes sort of semi-ethereal and it goes sparkly and it starts to wave. It has more waves in it, which
Unless,
is
you know,
basically what
in the same color as her hair.
everything just sort of stays the same except for it's wavier, sparkles, and it sort of looks sort of ethereal, which makes you wonder. Well, we saw what Luna looked like without her ethereal stuff going on, without the sort of princess mane going on. Which it's funny that Rarity brings that up. It's like we need to know about mane care. It's like
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, I think they've done it in books where they've shown that when Celestia was younger, her hair was just sort of a flat pink, and then
Yeah,
it got other stuff when she went full princess. And
Yeah.
Luna was sort of that light blue, and then when she sort of regained all her power, she went to her darker coloration, and her
Right.
mane went all flowy.
There's this funny little fan comic where Toya's like, How do you get your mane like that? It's like, oh no, I went bald a long time ago. This is a hologram. Same things can happen to you.
she is over 1,000 years old, which also brings up the oft problem of immortality. If Twilight is now is with the power transfer is going to become immortal. If she becomes immortal, you know, there's
what
always
about the
those
other
those.
I mean,
mainstays?
I thought she turned immortal just by becoming an alicorn.
That's what I thought.
It's debated, and it's some word of God says that it's no, like Celestia Luna, yes, but the sisters, yes, but like created alicorns like Cadence and
So
Twilight,
then,
not so much.
would that mean that Flurry Heart will outlive her parents? Because Flurry Heart was a born alicorn.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It could
that
also
So then
implies
be. It could
she
also
Celestia
be.
Luna born alicorns, which even they've stated they weren't.
But well, it could also be just connected to. Do you raise the sun and moon? Okay, you get the ethereal, mane and the longevity. Could
I
be. We don't know how alicorn immortality works.
I was gonna say I think the mane comes with age.
But yeah, we
I
don't.
mean the the hair thinning could be a part of it, and so really that's all that space in there is just space, and it's just really wispy, and that's why it's so poofy,
Yeah,
because it's just really light, really fair hair, because it got so thin over time.
yeah, the word of God, from what I understand, was basically from the people that run the show. But this was a while ago. Was that alicorns like Twilight and Cadence aren't immortal, and what was it? And there was also that Twilight will not outlive her friends. So either they're all going to become immortal, or she's not becoming immortal, or she's not immortal in that sort of situation. I don't know. We'll see, I suppose.
And that could have changed over time.
Oh yeah, there's still I mean,
because it could have just been she didn't become immortal when she became an alicorn, but it could have earned it by the end of the series, and then all her friends die.
Oh no, they all die in the last episode. The bad guys win.
which it's interesting that they've gone with this sort of situation, because this was what Faust initially, when she started the show, that was the whole idea of the show eventually would be Twilight taking over for Celestia eventually. That was one of her, I think, story Bible like points. This was one of her points, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how. Yeah, if she.
and there's evidence to it the whole series.
Yeah.
She's been grooming her for the throne the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Which even Rainbow Dash, I think it was, made that comment about how, well, it makes sense that they didn't do jack shit during all of these, because they were training Twilight to take over the throne. It was either Rainbow Dash or Applejack.
I think it was Dash. Dash was being the most genre
Vocal.
savvy.
Yeah.
It's less than Luna listening.
I mean,
it's like, yeah,
Rainbow Dash was the one who's like, when she's like, you guys have saved Equestria countless times, and Dash is like, about time you noticed.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So yeah, while Dash is super enthusiastic about dreamwalking, Twilight is significantly more apprehensive.
Yeah, she's gone into a full-on panic attack. And
She
she's
is
not
now,
having fun.
twilighting is now officially a verb.
Yes, the whole series was being by classic Twilighting.
Yeah.
Twilighting? You made me a
Made me a
verb?
verb?
It's not a bad thing. We just know you have a process.
I love how Discord just was being used as a catalyst to expedite all of the monologue and exposition in this. It's like, you have saved Equestria and shown your courage, and Discord's like, yada yada yada. Yeah, move it along. We know all this already. And then when Twilight's panicking, nice transition, by the way. Her panicking in the thing, and Discord's like, oh yeah, she's totally ready for this. And she's like, I'm not ready for this. Yes, I know. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But you've got this. Your friends are going to go and do all this stuff, and you're going to regain your con. It's a meme by now. It happens every episode.
Well, anytime she needs to make a
Yeah.
massive growth spurt, becoming a princess, doing all this, she gets all. Anytime she's just given a whole lot of new responsibility, it's like, yeah, she freaks out a little bit, then she plans, then she paces, and she figures it out, and she does something, does stuff with her friends, and kind of goes, okay, well, this isn't so bad, this isn't so scary, and then by the end, she's calmed down and she's got her confidence back. It's like, yes, I can handle this. It's like you were ready for it anyway, but you had to go through this sort of process to calm the down.
You have to do your twilighting ahead of time.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's kind of exactly how it went.
Mm-hmm. I love the foreshadowing in this. At the very beginning, when they're running to the thing, another evil creature out for revenge. Yeah. But she doesn't know about that yet. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then there hasn't been a single villain we couldn't defeat.
Except for.
But what about them all together?
Maybe not one, but
maybe not a single villain. But
what if the villains became friends too?
Yes.
Well, see, that's the problem with villains is they're inherently selfish and arrogant, which does not do well with friendship. So either they become friends. What?
Except for Cozy Glow.
Well, usually they either, that's the problem is they can't use friendship until they get rid of their arrogance and their evilness. And by the time they've gotten rid of that, they no longer want to be villains. So they can only be friends or villains. They can't be both.
Because children's show.
Well, yeah, that's the way these sort of characters work. They either have to become reformed, and then they can be friends. Like Discord. It's like, yes, he was reformed, and now he can be a friend. But he was selfish and sort of self-centered at the beginning, and just out for having fun. And then, as he became more reformed, he became less self-centered, more worried about others, guiding Twilight around, having been around for as long as he has.
And now the veritable paragon he is now.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically, he doesn't, he's now no longer the nasty villain he once was. He's become a valuable member of the Friends.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, sure, he's a little immature at times, but that's just because what's the point of being an adult if you can't be immature sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fourth Doctor quote.
Own throne.
Also, did you guys notice when he was showing that imaginary throne and Twilight sitting on it, it really did resemble Sombra's throne when he took over.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It looked like a she looked like a villain. It's like she's got like all this, flame and dark colors and
Yeah.
it really looks aggressive.
And the throne itself looked like the one Sombra made with the crystals.
So
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king, yes.
yes.
Also, Starlight's reverse psychology thing. It's
Well,
like,
less
Yeah.
reverse
I need you to
psychology,
run
but more just baiting Twilight into saying the kind of thing she needs to hear herself.
yeah,
Even though
Starlight
it
is one
doesn't.
hell of a guidance counselor.
that is why she's the school's shrink. Because she knows how to manipulate in all the best ways.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's taking her previously evilly used manipulation abilities and turning them to the good. It's like, yes, I am manipulative, but to try to get you to realize your own thing, you need to realize. That way, if you realize it yourself, you're more likely to accept it.
And to a degree, but there's a big difference between running a school and running a kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they dropped this on her, like, yeah, no, a few days is all we need.
You got a couple days, and you're going to be us.
It's like,
Where is that tag again?
Panicking.
yeah, it's like if you'd said, in the next couple of years we want to work towards this, and given her plenty of
if they'd have given her some warning any time while they were grooming her.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. It's like, this is what we're grooming you for.
Yeah.
We get there eventually. I mean, she still would have freaked out, but she wouldn't have been as surprised by the announcement.
Yeah.
Or even just making some comments about it, like, oh, you've got your own castle now. Enjoy it. Get used to it. Maybe someday you'll be in my castle. Something like that even. Get her used to the idea, not just, oh, yeah, guys. You guys are doing... You guys did so great, and how about you take over in a couple days? Wait, what?
Yeah. At least give me 25 to 26 episodes to actually get ready for this.
Right?
Yeah, because initially when she was made an alicorn, she didn't have any initial responsibilities out of that. So it was a big deal, but it wasn't, she wasn't dropping a bomb on her. This was.
And then, even during the you'll play your part thing, when she was asking for princess responsibilities,
this is exactly what she had in mind for her.
Instead of alluding to it so generically that it's like, oh, maybe someday something will happen, say, well, now that you're an alicorn, work at it, and maybe someday you can take our place. Something like that. Instead of just
the song was so beautiful, though.
Instead of just throwing shit at her, it's like, dude.
To be fair, I think Celestia gets a little bit of joy out of seeing Twilight panic with her
I think
declarations.
So.
And the thing is, I think it's because what we saw in that one episode where we actually got sort of Celestia's perspective on sort of the time around the first episode in universe, that we kind of see that Celestia and Twilight are actually quite similar in personality. Yeah. Celestia is better at hiding it at this point, but she's run out of things to be surprised by with new powers and all that stuff. But they're very personality-wise in that regard. They're very, very similar. Okay, going back to my notes.
Self in Twilight in more ways than one.
The next part was
well, I've still got stuff on the first scene. We've been jumping around so much.
Oh.
The
Sorry.
sisters say they only need a few days to set up the power transfer ceremony, though admittedly it may be more on the ceremony setup and less on the power transfer given the events of Tyrik's rampage and them transferring things. We don't know how that works. We already kind of covered that. Twilight was thinking of a lengthy training process when she was reminded she'd been going through one for years. Her friendship guide being a better guidebook than they could ever provide. Except for in the fact of, how to handle matters of state, how to, I guess friendship still kind of goes with that, but she's actually, thinking about it though, she has been working with the dragons and the griffins and everything and sort of,
The whole school was
it's one diplomacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose you got that.
And guess who had her back the whole time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. We get Twilight going into... She's twilighting. Meanwhile, Grogar assembles the team around his goat's eye Palantir. He resurrects Sombra, pulls Chrysalis and Glow Chrysalis from the woods. She was going insane. Though you'd think she would being a changeling, she wouldn't need to stay outside. She could have wandered into any city she felt like and transformed into a pony and just walked around.
Yeah, but she hates ponies.
Yes, but if she needed something, like, she could just do that. And
Feel a little
the woods seem really, they don't seem to be affecting her mental state in a good way anyway. Being alone.
I did have a question. How did Cozy Glow make that rock sculpture without any powers?
By the power of friendship.
Friendship is power, after all.
She has a lot of time. She's in Tartarus. She has a lot of time to think and do crafts, and that's what she does.
T-Rex, look. What? I made a statue of our friendship.
So I didn't do it, but did any of you count T-Rex tally marks to see how long they've been there?
No, but keep in mind he could have been tallying that up before she got there.
True.
How long do I have to stay in here with this creature?
Well, he did basically make her.
Yeah.
Yes. But
he reaps what he sows.
Well, to be fair,
and it's like,
when she was
talking... T-Rex! It's Lord T-Rex. It's like, Lord T-Rex? A changeling. See, she gets it.
Yes. Yes, the changeling actually understands. Oh, okay, yeah, that guy is scary. I ought to be nice.
Yeah.
Plus, well, I mean, it's just, use their proper titles as far as that.
And, she is royalty. She does know how to address another creature of power.
Yeah, I mean, they say King Sombra and they say Princess Twilight. Although I don't think
allowed to have respect for rivals and enemies.
Exactly.
Yes. He also restores some power to Tyrek as a sort of show of strength. Oh yes, here, have this little snack of power.
And then muscular.
And then he looks sort of semi-healthy again. He doesn't look
that whole flexing and kissing his arm muscles, that was just wrong. Like, yeah, built again, fish.
Welcome to the gun show.
I was at Winnie City PonyCon this weekend, and one of my con buddies is spent the entire weekend as bulk biceps. He's basically like my friend is basically a Johnny Bravo type,
Oh no.
and so that's just what that T-Rex scene made me think of, because he's all like, "Yeah, muscly again. Mm-hmm. Feel these pecs, bitch."
Anyway. So we get a history lesson, though where it all fits in is interesting. I guess it's a really long time ago.
It was even before the princesses.
Yeah, it was probably before
I think it
the
was before
heartwarming.
It was
Yeah,
before the founding of Equestria.
yeah,
I mean,
it was
Clydesdale was
even
still a thing, as we're talking Gusty the Great here,
yeah.
but that's about it.
Yeah, and let's see, he was the first emperor of Equestria and father of monsters.
But if he was the first emperor of Equestria, but Equestria was yet to be named. Because
Maybe
it was
he's
before
referring
the
to
founding.
the area known as that's known today as Equestria, and he had his own,
It's quite possible that when the ponies found the land of Equestria, it was already occupied by Grogar and his monsters, and then the nation was established after Gusty defeated Grogar.
I would very curious to see the timeline of
Yeah.
of where he fits in.
So would I.
Yes.
But I mean, the Ponyverse is a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The master's been playing around.
The sad part about this being the final season is I don't think they're done world building.
Well,
yeah.
Final season, plus I think they're making a second movie.
I think
so.
But
plus we don't know what Generation 5 will bring.
Yeah.
We don't know if Generation 5 is going to build off of this or not.
All I've seen of potential Generation 5 stuff is basically changing up the main cast, not in changing who they are, but in changing what kind of ponies they are.
Yeah, they could even, I mean, they set up the Student 6 so beautifully that it would kind of be a shame not to have them as the new main 6.
Right?
And see, in Generation 5, literally be the next generation. Literally be the next...
Then they need to get a bald British guy to make it work.
I mean, they've had...
Yeah, true. But I mean, we already have Delancey, so, I mean, we're partly there.
Yeah, my only thing is Delancey's probably not going to be in Generation 5, and I'm going to miss Discord.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'll give it a couple seasons. No Delancey, I might quit. Depending on the artistry. If they revert to the crappy generations 1 through 3, I'm gonna be like, no.
I've heard some people say they might go to they're going to the movie style animation.
So doing it all in Toon Boom, that would honestly be freaking beautiful, because
I could go for that.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fine with me.
Now let's see.
As long as they don't pull a Rise of the TMNT and go from, oh my gosh, that last generation was amazing. That was beautiful. What the fuck are you doing now?
Now let's see. Generation 1 wasn't that bad. Generation 2 is like, and Generation 3 is like, oh God, help me.
Oh look, it's a toy.
Yeah, I heard Gen 3 was the one nobody talks about.
Especially the newborns. It's like, oh God, what is this?
Well, Gusty apparently temporarily depowered him by taking his bell.
Yeah, and then there was Cozy's line.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Your idea of we have very different ideas of temporarily.
yeah, which apparently it just took him a while to regain his strength without his bell.
I
Grogar.
guess that gives new meaning to the term Hell's Bells.
Grogar points out that the failure of the gathered villains is not cheating or luck, which is basically what Crystal
Hey,
said.
I'm just
Tyrek.
a kid. What do you expect?
Yeah.
It's like, they cheated. They were lucky. Hey, I'm just a school kid. What do I... What do you expect? I was defeated by a bunch of people twice my age.
Yeah. And, essentially demigods. I was defeated by an assembly of demigods and I'm a school kid.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly surprised.
Like,
right?
Coco is the one villain that they brought in the entire army for.
Yeah.
And she's a filly.
Yeah.
The one time the Royal Guard was actually of use, and it was for the smallest villain they've ever had.
Yes.
Yeah. The most... They were almost brought down by the tiniest, meekest of them all.
Well, and the interesting thing is, while we're talking about the guard, we're on the subject of the guard. They actually try to do something this time. Like they're completely outmatched, but they try.
They flap their wings and hold up shields.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple of them threw spears at Sombra. It didn't do any good because it's freaking Sombra, but they tried. The Crystal Guards actually freaking tried. I mean, they failed, but they tried. And
where's Flurry Heart? I thought you had her. Yeah,
they did miss the boat on that one.
Yeah, full napping Princess McFlurry. Now that's a low blow.
And they were also on top of the castle, and they were going to blow horns, but to signal to everybody that, hey, Sombra is approaching, a threat is approaching, but they were interrupted, to say the least.
I do like those helms he made.
Yeah.
Which is another point on this is sometimes he uses the mind control helms, and sometimes he just has the mind control. What's the difference?
Well, if you notice, the mind controlled helms were specifically for the soldiers.
But not all the soldiers had them, because the guards inside didn't have them. They were just green-eyed.
He probably left them to defend the keep from, the ponies that could kick his ass.
Well, I mean, just
because he was afraid that they could overthrow the mind control pretty easily. So let's put the helmet on too.
Well, yeah, just that it's inconsistent about who has them and who doesn't. Let's see. Oh yeah, well, okay, back to.
I like Discord's glasses.
Yes.
It's written terribly.
It sounds like you said that the Crystal Empire has been taken over by Sombra and Princess Flurry Heart has been kidnapped, full napped. That is what it says. What?
And in on it all.
He's known since I have a feeling he had the foresight to know everything that was going to happen with this. Because if you noticed, first of all, there was that the throne looked like Sombra's throne. And just his reaction to every event has been more flippant than it could have been, but in a way that shows that he's not surprised. It's not just his usual whatever. It's more his
Oh, I
I know
know
this is
exactly what's going
serious,
to go
but-
down.
Yeah, I know this is serious, but I know you got this.
Yeah.
Of course, also the fact that he could handle it with a snap of his fingers and turn Sombra into pudding, but
Yeah. Like literal pudding.
yeah, literal pudding.
That's one of the fun things about Discord is you can describe him turning something into literal anything and it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he turned the first blast into, what was it, custard?
Yeah, and then balloons and I forget what else.
Confetti?
Yeah.
He's basically he's the inverted he's the inverse of Sombra. Sombra is dark and fearful and controlling, while Discord at this point has become more I want to have fun. And I
he
want to
never
laugh.
was
Then-
he never was really dark, and he wasn't
Yeah.
controlling, he
Well.
was manipulative.
I mean,
You know?
honestly, I don't even think he was ever really evil in the first place.
No,
Definitely misguided, but
I
no
think
near evil.
I think Discord was created as a balance to the a balance to the harmony and disharmony, because the group of first Celestia and Luna and now the main six have the elements of harmony, and the main six are the embodiment of the elements of harmony, and Discord is the counterpoint to that, because you can't have one without the other. You can't have yin without yang. You can't have, good without evil. You can't have right without left.
Yeah.
He is the opposite end of that. He's not dark and evil. He is just chaotic, and he is disharmony, and he keeps that balance.
Chaotic neutral.
Yes.
Well, chaotic good at this point, generally.
Yeah, but that's only because he wants to keep his main filly happy.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back to my notes. Grogar points out the failure of the gathered villains is not cheating or luck, with the strengths of the group shoring up the weaknesses of any one individual. He demands they work together to achieve dominance. Sombra doesn't share power. Yeah. Which he brings up an interesting point that I'm curious as to what the answer to this question is, but Grogar at the beginning, when Sombra says, I'm going to take back the Crystal Empire myself, and Sombra is like, and Grogar's like, well, okay, I'll send you there myself, but if you fail, you will be mine. You will work with us. And he failed, but at least at this point, he doesn't. When he comes back after seeing that Sombra's been defeated, I hope you three will be enough. You resurrected him once.
Yeah, but I think he learned his lesson with Sombra. It's like, this guy is an idiot, and he's not. He will not.
Yeah, he's more trouble than he's worth.
Exactly. There's no point in bringing him back if he's just going to get himself killed again.
Yeah, Sombra was.
Why waste power like that?
Yeah, Sombra was basically an example and a bit of a throwaway villain.
Yeah.
Hey, do not disrespect my Sombra.
I'm not disrespecting your Sombra. I'm disrespecting the show's Sombra.
Yeah.
They're very different characters.
Although the show's Sombra did make him gayer, just like his Sombra.
He is slightly more fabulous, but
yeah, he's got a little more fabulosity.
I really want the artist of the Ask Sombra blog to draw a picture of Coffee Talk hitting Sombra with a rolled up newspaper saying no.
Yes.
No.
In response to this episode.
Yeah, it's like, no.
So, Sombra, I heard you tried to take over the Crystal Empire again. And he's like, don't forget the rest of Equestria. And Coffee Talk just whacks him with the newspaper. No. What did we talk about? So, any more on your notes?
Oh my! I haven't gotten off the first page yet. I have 4 pages. Though, admittedly,
No, I mean
I've been...
of the first scene of the scene. Are you up to the Crystal Empire yet? On your notes?
No, I've still got
because
a couple
I have
things.
notes too. I'm trying to line them up.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just going memory.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm at
imagine
the
if
scene
all of
with
us took notes.
Starlight and she starts twilighting. Because we get the Legend of Zelda reference. Well, excuse me, says the princess. This time the princess is saying it. Apparently, twilighting is a term that the rest of her friends have been using behind Twilight's back because Starlight uses it too independently. Okay, we get back to Starlight feigns twilighting when she's asked to take over the castle and the school in order to try and help Twilight's anxiety. It's a valiant effort, as Spike says, but fails. Okay, and now we're at the Crystal Empire. Sombra attacks the Crystal Empire and starts to mind control the populace. He holds Flurry hostage and takes possession of the Crystal Heart. He is in full control. In response, Twilight doesn't loop in the princess in spite of Discord's advice as a sign she is ready to lead. Discord is pleased by her show of confidence, but holds up a hologram of her as a dark princess.
Yes.
Dark Lord, but a queen, beautiful and terrible at the dawn. Stronger than the foundations of the earth.
Lord of the Rings.
All shall love me and despair.
That was such a good scene.
It was. And now I kind of want to draw Twilight in that scene with like little cozy glow with the ring or something.
Honestly, I could see her going full Midnight Sparkle on that one.
Yes.
They're turning into purple fire.
Yes,
Which,
and like the little pool, envisioning it.
Yes. And it would be interesting to see what her... We've seen Celestia's evil alter ego if she went crazy. We know what Nightmare Moon looks like. What is a pony...
yeah, we don't know the pony version of Midnight Sparkle.
Yeah, what does Pony Midnight Sparkle look like? Oh, wow.
Honestly, I would probably just base it off of what we saw in Equestria Girls.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
probably be
only
just
turn it
taking
into
the
a
same...
pony.
Yeah, just ponifying that, just going the other way.
Then there begs a question of, what about Cadence?
Oh.
Cadence is already evil, so
Wait, how?
she manipulates people's emotions.
Yeah.
She is the
And
princess of
forces
love,
love.
and Print Love
She-
can be quite evil.
She forces people to love.
Yes, so that's...
That is pretty evil by my book. And not just because I'm Aero.
Let's see. She tries to rope in Discord to help, but he's unwilling. She needs to do this on her own.
He needed a cold shower after that hologram of evil Twilight.
So
Well, he was in the shower when she tried to rope him in.
Well, and the thing is, also, that's funny in this is Discord sort of plays the overall analytic fan of the series at this point, because he's like, Twilight isn't taking any chances with her family on the line and everything. She's going to bring the elements, And Discord is like, he's a little annoyed about using the elements not really doing it on their own.
Plus, he's like, you defeated Sombra without the elements last time. Why do you need them this time?
Technically, you had the crystal heart.
Yeah, but I mean, she does have Spike and she does have Spike, and you know he frees Cadence and rescues the crystal heart again.
Yeah.
Which just made me, the way they did it again just makes me think of Scooby-Doo. I'd have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddlesome kids and your dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps this whole Discord thing is just a big, it's a bit of a poke at the way they were used as a Deus Ex Machina in the past, including once against him. So he might have a little annoyance at that. Sombra shows the 6 of their greatest fears. Twilight's fears is a failure, of course, and enslavement of her friends and family. A little dark for a kid's show, but you know. Yeah, the distraction of the 6 lets Spike get in behind and break out. Cadence in shining armor. Cadence takes the heart and dispels the control. The elements are used to leave a scorch mark where Sombra was standing. Cadence comes back with an aggressive look on her face and then she relents on when she sees he's gone. Cadence looking aggressive is kind of odd looking. She doesn't look aggressive.
She looks more constipated than angry.
Her form is just not one that, you know, the way she's sort of drawn, just it doesn't lend itself well to showing I'm going to kick your butt and I'm a big pink pony.
It's like we know you're trying to look scary, but you still look cute.
I'm going to love you to death. Okay, Elmira.
Yeah. Which also sent up a flag for me because I was wondering. I have not looked at spoilers, so I don't know whether this would happen or not. Well, no, because later on I noted this when I saw it, but then I remember now. We saw Queen Chrysalis later, but I was like, be mindful of replacements. Just because Sombra isn't working with them doesn't mean Grogar wouldn't use an opportunity afforded to him in the chaos. So
yeah,
that was my initial. That was one of those flags that went up when she came in looking sort of aggressive. But then again, we saw Chrysalis at the end, so she's obviously not taking Cadence's place. But anytime any major character goes off screen, always be watchful because it could come back as Chrysalis.
Especially now that she's actually working with someone else and they're actually coming up with a plan.
Yeah, but she wasn't there. She didn't seem to be. There wasn't a plan yet. You know, they were just letting Sombra do his thing. So I doubt that. Yeah, that was a point where that could have been done, but I guess they didn't. They have other plans. So, Sombra follows them back to the tree and destroys it in the elements, which seems a little weird with the power scaling. The elements could seal away the Lord of Chaos, somebody that could absolutely slap Sombra around if he had a mind to it. But they could be easily crushed by Sombra.
Here's the thing. I don't really think that the Tree of Harmony elements are dead, because as you know, the tree is kind of sentient itself.
Yeah, I don't think that the tree is literally just straight up destroyed. And, well,
the only thing that, like, okay, at the end, they basically use sort of the elements' powers without the elements, which they've sort of semi-done before, because when you had the first episode, Nightmare Moon just shattered all of them, and then Twilight said, no, I'm going, we're the elements, we're attached to the elements, so by bringing these elements together, we become powerful. And
sorry, it cut me out. For some reason, it just kicked me out.
Okay,
but Kyle did have a theory that the tree didn't actually just straight up die, but it put itself to rejuvenate. It planted a new seed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
like
what he
that's
did.
a
like the
possibility.
catacombs under the school, so maybe it planted a seed and that needs to grow.
Well, and its roots go under the school as well?
Yeah, the roots
So
go the
so
roots go
you
all the way
could, yeah, so
across.
he destroyed what was sticking up out of the ground. There's a
And
whole freaking tunnel
you know,
system of
Anybody who
elements,
has
but
ever tried to weed, no, not tried weed, but tried to weed,
tried to dig up
knows
a
that.
tree. You'll find roots forever.
And not only that, but if you chop down the tree, uh, okay, depending on the plant, those roots will bring up a new tree.
Yeah,
yeah,
depending on what they are. Yeah, depending on
Yeah.
how hearty whatever it was that you chopped down was. Yeah, and
while it's definitely taken a
the only
blow, I
thing that
doubt that.
that goes against that is like
The ever-free forest going insane.
well, that and like that could be just that sort of antenna is taken down, so it can't keep it under control while the antenna is down. But
Yeah.
the part that is a problem, as Star Scroll was saying, it felt as if a part of my essence was destroyed. Then again, it could just be a part of his essence was destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
element of
the
magic itself
tree.
was probably connected to him because it was created from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being
And
destroyed, he probably felt it.
yeah, and so just because the tree itself was destroyed doesn't mean that the tree, being sentient, didn't think ahead of this. And if the Lord of Chaos could predict it, I'm pretty sure the Tree of Harmony could predict it as well.
Well,
Mhm.
And
and knowing more about itself than anybody.
mhm, it probably either planted a new seed or put itself into hibernation, kind of like how, you know, this,
It played dead. Essentially,
yeah,
it went
it
went,
went,
okay, I'm going to suck all, okay, he's coming to destroy sort of the antenna. Sucking all
it's
the power
winter
into
time.
the, yeah, yeah, take all the power and shove it into the roots, and in that way he could destroy it, and then later on when it's safe to do so, whoop, it regrows everything.
And it
Yeah.
could be that it too knew that Twilight needed to learn to work on her own, because they've used the elements as a crutch way too many times.
Mhm.
So the tree knew that she needed to learn to use their own power. So
Yeah, and on top of that, the box seemed to have given them all power around the time when they unlocked it. Like
Yeah.
there was those one-time use forms where, like, right after they got the box open,
when they ponied up.
they sort of, they went woo, and they had flowy stuff and weird colors and everything, that they could use the power that was given to them at that point. And but yeah, it could be just and what would be an interesting thing would be to if the pillars and the main six come together to regrow the tree. Like
Yeah, that
the
would.
way the pillars built the tree in the first place, the main six also put in their power.
Yeah,
And
and that could go to a new group, like say
The
the
student
student
six.
six.
Yeah.
well, they give a little bit of the power. They still have the power, but
Yeah.
eventually, yes, down the line, they would be used by somebody else. But
I mean, like, for the next gen, for Gen 5,
yeah,
that regrowing the tree could be used as a catalyst for the student six to gain the power.
yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah,
Back
talking
to
about the stealing the Lord of Chaos. Okay, and now we're on to part 2.
Trojan
Uh,
Trojan horse much? I let you think you defeated me, so you lead me right to the source of your power.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sombra's
But
actually for up until this point where there's a point where he shows like he's actually kind of competent for a
Yeah,
while until he gets to um he cages them up and is like, I don't need to control you because I'm going to show you the worst fears you have by controlling Ponyville. I don't need to do anything. You don't have the elements. Da 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 da. And so, like, he was super competent up until that point, and is like, his arrogance is his undoing. Just like,
yeah.
yeah, but his arrogance has always been his undoing.
yes, yes, but it just finally caught up to him because he was super competent until that point. Like he had,
Mm-hmm.
he had no reason to think, okay, well, yeah, other than like the distraction was a tactic. He got taken in by a tactic. Like he thought, all right, I'm using my fear thing on him, and he may not have known about Spike. I don't remember whether they. Well, no, he was there because they had the thing, but um, yeah, he would have definitely known about Spike, but um,
He was stupid with, oh, this dragon that defeated me last time
yeah,
is
he ignored
here,
him.
but he's useless.
Well, and the thing is, yeah, he probably thought, well, I don't. Spike couldn't cut through the crystal before. Like
No.
he's had a growth spurt, and now he can, and that was new information that he didn't have. And also, the main six were intentionally sort of distracting him while Spike was going over and doing that. So it was a intentional tactic. And if you're faced with there's a dragon running over there and there's 6 ponies who have wiped you out have wiped out various villains before, and they've got a gun.
Yeah.
They've got a friendship gun. Which are you going to be more distracted by? A little dragon or or somebody with a friendship gun? It's like,
And honestly, the whole relationship between Spike and most villains can be summed up with an exchange in the season 8 finale, in which Kirik is constantly referring to them as the 6 of you, and Spike always chimes in, "There's 7 of us."
yeah. And so, yeah, it's not unreasonable to be distracted by the friendship gun and ignore the dragon. But anyway, so Twilight finally sort of gets up on her feet. It's like, yes, I can't defeat him straight up, but we can't just sit here. So she
That's when you know it's rough, though. Even
Yeah.
Pinky can't be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They all turn to her for some sort of funny
laughter.
clip, and she's like, "There's nothing
I don't
funny
think
about
anything about this is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So Twilight starts to dig, and Dash joins her. She's taking the lead and getting out the mundane way because she can't sit still and let this happen. And then Pinkie
Pie just does it all for them because
Yeah.
she's
Drill hair!
she's a rock farmer's daughter. Digging
drill
is not
hair.
drill hair, and she's a rock farmer's daughter. She's not exactly inexperienced with dirt and rocks.
And I have to use this line: teamwork makes the dream work.
They still haven't gotten to there. Apparently, it's a DuckTales thing. I don't know.
Yeah, not yet, but you'll laugh when you finally get to that point.
Twilight's magic can't free Apple Bloom as they enter Ponyville. The controlled horde is going to lay siege to Canterlot.
Did you notice that when they're enslaved, their colors are grayed and off color, just like when they were discorded?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting thinking about it now. We must lay siege to Canterlot, which that was Starlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
That may have been actually Starlight resisting the control in so much as she gave away what they were going to do.
Yeah.
True.
She was like, I can't stop, but I could at least say what I have been commanded to do. And, because that's, I am doing what I am commanded to do, and so
This is.
not that Sombra was particularly worried about operation security because he's Sombra and it's like, but see, the cakes were forced to bake a hideous cake.
I like that color scheme, first of all, although black licorice fruitcake does sound disgusting.
Yes.
But the cake itself looked really awesome.
Black licorice in general is disgusting.
And so is fruitcake.
In fact, I love black licorice.
I like it all right every once in a while, too.
And so is fruitcake. Fruitcake is disgusting.
I don't know that I've had fruitcake, so I don't have an opinion on fruitcake.
A black licorice fruitcake that says, "Congratulations to our favorite Supreme Emperor, King Sombra,
in green frosting. It's the ugliest cake I've ever seen."
And that's what traumatizes her.
Yes, everybody else is worried about family and friends and all this stuff. And it's like...
The cake twins are under mind control, and the cake is what gets to her.
But
she did say something about it while they were in the cage, but yeah, the fact that everybody's reacting to, Rarity's reacting to Sweetie Belle, Applejack to Apple Bloom, that sort of thing. But yeah, so
Twilight reacting to both Starlight and Spike.
Yeah. The forest is growing unchecked without the elements. The main six use several implements to try and keep it under check with sort of mundane ways, but they don't make a lot of sense because, okay, there's some clippers. Okay, yeah, for cutting that makes sense.
Rainbow Dash gets an axe. That makes sense. Chopping down this thing.
They have a trowel and a rake.
Yeah, the one that really doesn't make sense is Applejack's trowel, because that's just, unless she's like digging it up, that really doesn't help.
Yeah, though she does show some incredible, a bit of that Earth Pony vigor by running a freaking plow through them.
Yeah,
it's like, this is much more effective than that stupid trowel. I'm just gonna pull this plow around.
I mean, honestly, if you're gonna do it by mundane means, just grab Rockhoof.
Yeah, well, apparently they had kept the forest in check as it was, so
yeah.
So yes, why the other pillars didn't show up? I guess they were in various places around.
They're too far away.
Yeah, so they couldn't.
Honestly,
they couldn't get
Rockhoof and Mistman handled it themselves when it comes to the forest.
But,
well, we saw that. Although, the whole Star Swirl was doing a lot more destruction than just the plants.
Yeah.
He was like digging huge holes in the ground and just like blowing up the ground itself. It's like they get back the forest is under control again. Why are there giant ditches all around Ponyville?
No reason.
Star Swirl.
New rivers.
Although that makes me wonder about Sakura, because she lives in the forest. Is she just like trapped in her house, in her hut, just like, oh my, what is this? I cannot leave the forest.
She's a potions master. She probably has something to sort of, after the first time they went wild, she probably came up with something just in case to sort of sprinkle around her home to keep the some sort of concoction that could keep
she has a super powerful weed killer, just like in a magical circle around her house, like when you do magic and you use a salt circle, only with her it's like weed killer.
Honestly, my first thought was, oh, silly me, I forgot the acid.
and then back to Sombra trying to break into the thing. You break it down.
Yeah.
I just pictured Big Mac rapping.
Yeah, that was the first one to just like, you big one. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honest,
but just
if he
like
wasn't mind
you.
controlled, I bet he would have just responded with, yup.
But the way he said it, you break it down. Just okay, Big Mac rapping would be hilarious.
My name is Big
Because
Mac.
yo, break it down.
Yep.
That
It
was
would have
more
been
than-
funny if, as a sign of resistance, he tries to, take his orders literally and starts doing beatboxing in the background.
Yes.
It's like, yep, yep, yep,
Yep.
nope, nope, yep, nope, nope, yep, nope.
But wow, the princesses actually did something.
Yeah. Well, they did help with around the crystalling somewhat.
And, Celestia tried when Chrysalis showed up.
Yeah.
It got fought.
Yeah, but I mean,
Celestia
she didn't even believe
fight.
her.
Uh,
She's just like, oh, you're just jealous because your brother is leaving you.
anyway, let's see. He takes an empty throne room because the princess had gone to. Sombra takes the empty throne room because princesses had gone. She's like, oh, they ran away, the cowards, and it's like, no, they went to handle something else. Let's see.
Them fighting outside. You get to see Dr. Hooves again.
Let's see. Interesting thing about Twilight's teleporting ability. It's always been sort of. It depends on what they need it for. Sometimes it can only go so far. Sometimes And they went full power on it, and she seemingly ports the crew all the way from edge of the Every Forest to Canterlot in one juke. And
Yeah.
And yet she didn't pop them directly inside the castle.
Until later, instead of
Yeah, but I mean, why wouldn't she have just popped them directly inside the castle? Because you would assume that that's where the bad guy is.
Yeah, maybe she wanted to see what's going on and if they.
Ponyville.
Let's see. So they deal with the attacks for a while, and then eventually they just sort of. And
Well,
They don't
we're
want
gonna
to actually hurt them because they're their friends.
yeah, we got
Something else I'm not prepared for.
yeah.
And there's Discord waiting for them because
Yeah.
He's been putting up posters for her, decorations for her coronation.
he really needs to work on his drawing skills.
Hey, those are great drawings.
It's a style.
I guess. And really, he drew it with crayon.
But crayons are fun.
They are fun, but
Think approved.
And they're
And
non-toxic,
pickles?
so he can eat as many as he wants.
and pickles with jam. Interesting idea. Now I want to try it. But we don't have any pickles. But we don't have any pickles. I need to get pickles.
I don't have any jam,
I have jelly. Does that count?
I guess.
Close enough.
I really don't know the difference.
One has seeds, one doesn't. That's the only difference.
Oh,
And it
I have
depends
no
on.
idea which one.
It also depends on where you are, because in Britain, if you say jelly, they're gonna think you're meaning Jello.
True. Although I do have that too. I have cherry jello.
Anyway,
I
And-
guess they said pretty pleased with a cherry on top to request because that's how he stopped one of the ponies.
yeah.
Yeah.
He literally put a cherry on top.
Yeah, she asked him for assistance, and he helps with the guards. And then for like the first few of Sombra's attacks, He just
He
sort of
just kind of
completely.
casually
Yeah,
walked
but that was all part of the plan.
claws.
First of all, he didn't want to force Twilight to fight her own people. Second of all, with the attack, he was biding his time.
Yeah.
That entire thing was a plan. I mean,
Yeah.
he specifically pointed out the best way to defeat him by saying, "Oh, you have Fluttershy to thank because she's my favorite." So of course, that's basically just like, "Hey, Sombra, shoot her,"
Yeah.
so that he can dive in front of it and be hit. Because every pony there would believe that he would sacrifice himself for Fluttershy.
Oh,
If it were any other pony in that group, he'd just be like, but Fluttershy, that is his one weakness.
Yeah.
So he would literally die for her. So
Yeah.
of course he would be happy to jump in front and, "Oh, I'm out of power. I guess you've got to do it yourself."
What's kind of cool is, honestly, he would never admit it, but I think that whole speech was just him saying his opinion.
Yeah, that was genuine honesty on his part, but it is what they needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And that expression when she said, "Oh, thank you, Discord, we couldn't do it without you," and that look of pure dejection, like, I've done all of this to prove that you can do this by yourself, and now you're giving me all the credit. I appreciate it, but no, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
reiterate, I'm so freaking proud of Discord. He proved that he's just such an amazing friend.
Exactly. And he just, like, even the second time watching it for taking notes, I got all misty-eyed because that speech was just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get one of the, those crowning moments of badass with Twilight. It's like,
although I did get a song stuck in my head from her little speech thing. Get knocked down, we get up again.
Yeah, she's just at that point she realizes, no, I'm freaking awesome.
I'm god of ponies.
And just start slapping around his beams like they're nothing. Just slap the whole.
Admittedly, I kind of love the first one. It's like a dramatic hair flip. It's like,
yeah.
I'm going to hair flip while casually casting aside your magical beam. Chook, chook.
And it doesn't matter how many times you hit us and try to knock us down, we'll get up again and again and again, because we have friendship on our side and you suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when she starts getting into a beam war with him, the rest of the group sort of kind of clicks onto her and sort of uses power of friendship to boost her beams and just wipes him out. But it's like you get this kind of fun little interaction. It's like, that's sort of a, it's a capper to, yes, we're awesome sort of thing. Twilight, you can't destroy our friendship, Sombra, and we keep telling in Rainbow Dash, we keep telling bad guys, Applejack, but y'all just don't seem to remember friendship is magic and that sort of thing. It's like, yes, we keep telling you guys don't do this, and you never quite understand. You never remember. It's like, yes, we kicked your butt with this before, and you're going to continue to do this. At which point, all the Harmony Wave wipes out Sombra and all his mind control and all the crystals.
Yeah.
Discord's reaction to Celestia's announcement, though, was priceless. Because he's just like, "Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm hurt. Take care of me, Fluttershy." And then Celestia's like, "Oh, we decided we're not retiring." He's like, "What? I did all of this. I pretended to be hurt. I gave them the confidence they needed to do what you told them to do, and now you're not even gonna do it?"
Yeah, and
And they're like, wait, you could have stopped this the entire time and you just let us deal with it. Well, you needed to prove to yourselves that you could. I knew you could. Celestia knew you could. Everyone else knew you could. You needed to prove it to yourself. So I was trying to help you by not helping you.
Yeah, of course, you don't think some would-be king could actually hurt the Lord of Chaos, do you? Anyway, as I was saying, I pretended to be very hurt to convince you that you didn't need anything but yourself to be the incredible leader I know you can be. And now it's not happening?
He sure has a weird way of being supportive. Super odd dude. I heard that. I love that. Why do I even bother? And he storms out the window like it's a freaking door.
Yeah.
And he likes cherry juice with 3 somethings in it. I can't remember what it was.
Red juice with a fun little umbrella, and 3 cherries.
2 cherries. Okay, yeah.
It has to be red juice though, not
red
cherry juice specifically, just red juice.
Red juice and 3 cherries and an umbrella.
Yes.
He's going full little glass of water at that moment.
Of course.
Yeah, but when somebody's taking care of him, he feels special. He's just like,
I was baby.
Yeah.
I did something so good, and now you all get to wait on me hoof and tail.
Okay. And we cut back to the villains, and Cozy Glow is actually teaching them about friendship.
I say something good about centaurs, and you say something good about changelings, and then she says something good about never. I will never say anything good about ponies. Villain friendship circle. Fun.
Yeah, which, again, it's that thing, is if they ever actually accepted the friendship lessons, they would stop being villains.
Yeah. Well,
which is why they won't ever work together effectively, because they're too selfish and arrogant.
Cozy Glow is still a villain, and she's embraced the friendship thing. She just doesn't quite understand the overarching concept of friendship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, if they fully understood and embraced friendship, then yes.
Would literally transform into an entirely different being if she embraced friendship.
Yeah, I'm just
imagining a good version of T-Rex.
Oh gosh, I'm just picturing now with like a daisy chain crown and like a little necklace made out of like flowers and like.
And it's changed from red to sort of a nice light shade of pink or purple.
And he's just got that, like, he's got the eyelashes and the let's be friends,
but still in the old man voice.
Yes. No, not the old man voice, because he's bulk biceps again.
Right, so it's in the
weird raspy voice,
macho voice.
Yeah, that has that slight, like, high undertone to it. That, let's be friends.
Yep. Then Grogar returns and announces Sombra's defeat, which we already covered, that he can't or won't try to resurrect him.
Well, my theory is that when Sombra was defeated again at the Crystal Empire, Grogar did bring him back, but since Sombra didn't go back to Grogar and tried to conquer Ponyville, Grogar was just like, screw it.
That's possible.
That is possible, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's like, you got that was your third chance. I'm not bringing you back and wasting my time, you stupid twat. I think Cozy Glow is more of just a filler.
She's the team mascot.
Yeah, no, I think Grogar brought her with just because there are only 3 villains left that not made good by those annoying ponies. Fine, I'll let the brat join the evil League of Evil. She could be party cannon fodder.
If they ever get in a tight spot, I can use her as a pony shield.
Yeah, she's a meat shield.
Like,
I mean,
you wouldn't
not
hurt a
very
pony,
meat,
would
but-
you? Not a pony this cute and innocent, would you?
You're exactly who I would hurt, and I would enjoy it.
So I just realized something why he probably didn't bring back the Storm King. What does the Storm King have that the others don't?
Charisma?
No, the Storm King has an army.
He had an army.
He also has a rep. Like a worldwide reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Storm King would be like, why do I have to listen to you?
Yeah.
He might have brought him back and just been like, and Storm King tried what Sombra tried, but unlike Sombra, he actually had potential to, do something. So he's like, fine, I'll kill you again.
Yeah.
If I care.
But that ends my notes.
Mine too.
Okay. Here's a few things. I was looking at Grogar trivia. It's like Grogar was mentioned in Generation 4 in the 3rd episode of Season 7 My Little Pony: Friendship and Magic as part of a story called Gusty the Great. Twilight Sparkle reads the book to 6 fillies at a hospital and was babysitting Flurry Heart at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Another note I want to make is the whole, oh no, our friends and family, they're being brainwashed, we can't hurt them. Personally, if it was me, I'd be knocking everybody out. I mean, it's not like I'd be killing them.
True.
And it's for their own good, so they'll understand. But I hope this is gonna be like a 26 episode season, not just like 10 episodes.
Well, I mean, haven't most of the seasons been like 20-something episodes?
Yeah, it's a full season.
Except for season 3, which was about 15 episodes, 13 episodes long.
Yeah, 13. This is a full season from what I understand, so
That's good.
we'll get a full thing.
So of course, Chrysalis will probably get redeemed. I mean, it's ponies. But
Thorax is going to have a lot to do with that.
what if T-Rex gets redeemed because his old friend Scorpan comes back?
Or Cozy Glow accidentally redeems him and he by preaching the friendship, and he actually buys into it. But Cozy Glow is, underneath the surface. She's teaching the friendship things. She's aping the friendship things Twilight taught her, but
they actually catch on, and she's just like, "Hey, why are you against me now?" Because they're all friends.
Friendship. It's like...
Because friendship really is magic.
Any other?
I think I knew goats were evil.
Yeah, well, not as evil as bunnies.
I do like the goat's eye palantir he's got. It's like the lost seeing stones. So that must have been one heck of a big goat.
According to like descriptions in the wiki, he's supposed to be like twice as big as like a normal sized stallion.
Well, I mean that's a personal opinion.
Haha. Very, very funny. Hey, maybe Grogar will get redeemed too and learn about the powers of friendship.
Well, he already seems to know that friendship is a powerful magic, so.
What else would he want to take advantage of?
He just says at the end of it, you know what? Fudge it. It's not worth it. I'm leaving. Go conquer
If you
someplace
can't beat
else.
him, join him.
Or he just leaves Equestria. It's like, yeah, I'll go bother these over here.
So, admittedly, before I saw Grogar in this episode, I did see a little still of the episode where he just saw his blue feet or whatever, blue hooves. And the first character that came to mind was, I can't remember the name, but Daring Do's villain.
Aizodal.
Yeah. The first thing that came to mind, I was like, wait, what?
I mean, he is an Aztec god.
True.
I was like, oh no, it's Goat. Hi, Goat.
Or it could just be.
So he's the greatest of all time?
Or it could just be a really big zoom in on Iron Will.
Yeah.
Iron Will is gonna conquer Equestria.
Let's see. The villains
He's just that assertive.
from Generation 1 were, let's see, T-Rex. And there was Grogar, of course. And then there's that one tiger or cat lady, I forget her name. Oh, and the Smooze, too. Can't forget about the Smooze.
Smooze was great.
Oh, I love when Applejack asks, do Flim and Flam count as villains?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually had that very debate at Winnie City. I had that exact debate whether Flim and Flam counted as villains.
What if Grogar pulled them in as at part of the team is like
He'd find himself, what happened to all my stuff? Where'd all my stuff go?
I'd like to see.
Stop trying to sell everything.
I still would turn down the opportunity just because it's too much work.
I like to see how his plan's gonna play out, but of course we're probably not gonna see any of them for the whole entire season until the last 2 episodes.
I think the whole season is gonna be a supervillain smackdown.
Yeah, they'll probably do. What I'm thinking is this is a lot of villains at once, so they'll hit us with this, then they may take the next few episodes off and maybe just some hinting at what's going on in the background, and then partway through the season you'll see another one show up and they'll be defeated either on purpose or accidentally, and then we'll have another little bit of time, and then they'll try another scheme, but it doesn't quite work, and maybe one of them gets captured or something. It's just little bits and pieces here and there where over this we're not going to see just constant 26 episodes of supervillain smackdown, but every so often during the season we'll see it.
Season.
What? Yeah.
I was saying it's probably going to be periodic throughout the season.
Yeah.
Constant but prevalent.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be all 3 at once, just because that would kind of just jump the shark with it. I think what they'll do is they'll go and have 1 or 2 one at a time, and they'll have different plans with it that they'll enact accordingly. And once that plan doesn't work, they'll plan another one, and so on and so forth.
I think Grogar is going to send each of them in 1 at a time so that he can gauge their weaknesses and then tell them how they can cover for that.
Yeah, and how each of them can, and their strengths, of course. So like,
Yeah.
okay, so your weakness is this, and your strength is that. So you two go forth and wreak some havoc.
Yeah.
And
Cozy
then
Gore is a schemer. Chrysalis is, well, she's a deceiver, and Tirek is raw magical might.
But
it'll be an interesting season.
Yeah.
I just hope there's enough non, like.
I just hope there's enough Discord. I mean,
Discord every single episode.
I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to be mod centric because if the last 2 seasons are any indication, episode 3 is always a mod episode.
well, I mean, Jack wouldn't mind. Every episode, the opening credits have Mod Pie. He's like, Mod! She's not even in the episode, but he points her out in the opening credits.
Because Mod is awesome.
She is. She rocks. But
Come
Well,
at him,
That's fun.
that was a long review.
It
well, there was a lot to cover.
Kind of needed it.